Let me ask you something. Have you ever bought a ticket, paid top dollar, expecting the kind of experience they splash all over their glossy ads, only to get slapped in the face by reality before you've even left the ground? Yeah, I'm talking about the kind of day that starts with high hopes and ends with your whole world flipped upside down. So picture this. My name's Ebony Lane, and I'm a black woman who built her own champagne brand from the ground up. On this particular day, I'm sitting in the first-class lounge at JFK, about to fly to Paris. I just landed a huge distribution deal. I'm dressed sharp as hell, and all I want is a glass of bubbly to celebrate what took me 10 years of blood, sweat, and side eyes to achieve. You'd think that'd be simple, right? First class, Skylux Airlines, the works, gold-plated service, big promises. But the moment I get on that plane, something feels off. You know that prickle in the back of your neck, like you're not just being watched but measured? That was me in seat 2A. The flight attendant comes by, pouring champagne for every suit in the cabin, except me. Not even a glance. At first, I tell myself it's just an oversight, no big deal. Maybe she's just distracted. But when I clear my throat and ask, the attendant, her name's Marjorie, face so tight it could snap, tells me they're out. Out, really? Because I literally just watched her pour a glass for the guy across the aisle. Now, I'm not one to lose my cool in public, especially not when I'm wearing my brand, my story, basically my life on my sleeve. I ask again nicely. Marjorie just shrugs, says it's policy. I look around. Everyone else has their glass filled, some are already on their second. That's when a younger flight attendant, Alicia, tries to step in, but Marjorie shuts her down so quick it makes my skin crawl. And now everyone in first class is pretending to read or nap, but you can feel them watching, waiting to see if I'll make a scene. Let me back up a sec. You have to understand, this wasn't just about a drink. It was about sitting in a space I fought my way into, being told, without a word, that I didn't belong. I spent the first hour of that flight staring at the seat back, fists clenched under my blanket, telling myself to let it go. But every time Marjorie walked by, not offering me so much as a water, I felt it, like 100 little paper cuts. The guy in the pinstripe suit next to me leans over at one point, real low, and says, "I saw what she did. That's not right." But he doesn't say anything out loud, just offers me that look. Pity, maybe solidarity, I don't know. Twist number 1. When the turbulence hits and the attendants have to sit, Alicia sneaks over and slides into the empty seat next to me. She's shaking a little. "This isn't the first time," she whispers. "I've seen her do this before, especially to passengers who look like you. She's careful, never loud, never obvious, just enough to make you feel unwelcome." I tried to talk to her once. She nearly got me fired. That right there, that's the kind of quiet, slow burn discrimination nobody wants to admit still happens, not in first class, not with all those policies and statements plastered everywhere. After the meal, I finally get my promised glass of champagne, but it's warm, poured carelessly, foam dripping onto the linen. Marjorie doesn't apologize. She just says, "There you go," like I'm a problem she finally managed to solve. But then, twist number 2, the glass disappears before I'm halfway done. I ask for a refill, and she acts like I'm asking for the moon. Meanwhile, the other passengers keep getting topped off. That's when the businessman speaks up, quietly. "She took your glass. Then she offered the rest of us more. I'm willing to back you up." That changes things. Suddenly, it's not just my word. I start documenting everything. Times, what was said, how many glasses were poured, even the looks. Because I know how this goes. If you don't have receipts, people will say you imagined it. By the time the flight lands, I've got a timeline, screenshots, and more than enough courage to take it further. Now, here's where it gets cinematic. By the time I step into the Paris terminal, my phone is blowing up. I tell my business partner Carmen what happened, and she's immediately in crisis PR mode. She says, "Don't let them bury this. Let's go public, but be smart about it. You worked too hard to let this be swept under the rug." I post my story on social media, not naming names yet, just facts, and the reaction is immediate. People are angry. They're sharing, commenting, tagging the airline, demanding answers. The airline's official response: classic corporate, "We're looking into it." No apology, just a vague promise. But then, a phone call, Skylux's PR person offering me free upgrades, magazine features, anything to keep me quiet. I say, "This isn't about perks. This is about making sure your crew never does this to another black woman again. They try to placate me, but I'm not biting. And just when you think that's where it ends, oh no. The media picks it up. Interviews, news stories, think pieces about racial bias in the air. A former employee comes forward, leaking emails showing this Marjorie woman has had complaints before. Turns out, I'm not the first. The pressure mounts. The airline suspends her, promises real diversity training, and, in the biggest twist of all, they reach out to feature my champagne on their flights as part of their new commitment to inclusion. You know what I mean? You couldn't script irony like that. My friends and even strangers are like, Ebony, you won. But it doesn't feel like winning. It feels like doing what I've always done, fighting, documenting, refusing to shrink just because someone else thinks I should. I get to walk back onto a Skylux flight for my return, bottle of my own champagne in hand. Crew treating me with actual respect, and not because they want to, but because now the whole world is watching. And let's be real, the hate comes too. Trolls, DMs, people telling me I'm making a big deal out of nothing. But I know better. Every little act like this is a drop in a much bigger ocean. And if we don't speak up, nothing changes. So here's my last word. If you're ever told you don't belong somewhere you fought for, document it. Don't let it slide. Shine the brightest light you can, because sunlight is the best disinfectant. And if you've got a story like mine, share it. Comment below. Tell me what you'd have done, what you think real justice looks like. Is it enough for a company to apologize and retrain, or does it take more? Do you think it's time to finally change how we talk about and act on bias? Me? I'll keep bringing my own champagne, in every sense. And I'll keep pouring for anyone who's thirsty for change.